Alright YouTube, how you guys doing? I'm back here with you for another week or another segment of Apple Weekly. Apologies for not making one last week as I went into London. Most of you following me on Twitter do know that. Thoroughly enjoyed myself, and as you can see from the video on your left hand side, it was pretty damn awesome, and you can see that video if you click on it. So we have a few stories to cover this week. One of the main stories, however, is Apple updating or releasing an update for the iPhone 4s, the 3G, the 3GS, the iPod Touch and the iPad, which is a security update. And it basically addresses the jailbreak service, and they've disabled that, and the PDF and Safari vulnerability. So it's worthwhile downloading that if you haven't already done so. I've done it on my iPhone 4, not done it on the iPad yet, don't know why, but maybe I should after this video. So the second story is in relation to Apple TV. I'm waiting for the Apple TV to get refreshed so I can go out and get one. I've been waiting for quite a while, but I've just held back because I know Apple hasn't touched the Apple TV range for a number of months now. They're not really doing anything with it. But then again, there's a lot of rumours saying that the Apple TV will get refreshed, and rightly so. Engadget has reported a few days ago that the Apple TV will be getting renamed to iTV, which is kind of controversial here in the UK because iTV is a news publisher or news broadcaster. So if indeed Apple do rename it to iTV, there's going to be a lot of court cases, and rightly so. The Daily Mirror, which is a UK publication, reported that iTV lawyers are already working on a scenario whereby Apple, if Apple do go down this route, then rightly so, iTV will be filing charges and taking them to court and so on. Engadget has also reported that this new iTV device will not be capable of playing 1080p videos, which I find quite disturbing. I will not buy this thing if it does not have 1080p. I'm sorry, but I'm just too used to 1080 now. I don't see why. The reason why Engadget say is because the A4 processor can't handle 1080p files, but then on the other hand, the iPhone 3GS can handle 1080p files fine. So it's very it's very mixed news. There's not solid concrete evidence. Engadget reportedly spoke to a few insiders, or they've seen some documents, and again, it's just all rumours at this stage, and if it's all correct, then we might be able to see a new Apple TV this year. But what do you guys want to see? The name iTV, I think Apple are trying to sort of make everything simple. The iPhone, the iPod, the iMac, the iTV. So I think they're trying to make everything consistent, make it simple for the end user. And I don't have a problem with the name, but I do have a problem with the 1080p playback. And of course, as I said in the last week episode, iTV will be based on iOS, which I don't have a problem with just now, until I really see it hands-on in a TV environment. I mean, for the hand, for the touch, the iPod Touch, the iPad, the iPhone, it's quite good. On a TV, which I don't necessarily have in my hand, of course it's on the TV, I've yet to sort of see how that will kind of, benefit me. If I can sync my iPad and my iPhone 4 to the iTV, that would be something different and very interesting. But yet again, we have to see how it works. You can't really I can't really say negative or positive about it so far. The third thing I want to talk to you about is the Apple iPod media event, which took place last year on the September the 9th. This year, All Things D is reporting that it's going to be on the September 14th or 15th. Obviously that's a bit later than last year. New iPod Touches, dual cameras, Retina display, fantastic, and I think we all kind of expected it. Expect FaceTime as well. Apple said that they were going to have 10 million iOS devices by the end of this year, so I think that's in line with that. Furthermore, Morrison's, which is a UK retailer, has really slashed their prices for the iPod Nanos and the iPod Shuffles. I mean, I went in yesterday and they had a lot, less than half price. Quite, tempted to pick one or two up, but I thought, just hang on, and that money I'm spending on these older models, I can just save up for a new one if need be. Depending on what Apple bring out. New iPod Nanos, of course. And guys, leave me your comments below as to what you're expecting. Are you waiting for an iPod and you're like, hey, hurry up Apple, update the lineup? What do you want? Are you waiting for an iPod Touch? And yeah, just leave a general comments on the whole iPod media event and what you're waiting for. The next story is in relation to the white iPhone 4s, and this story is probably not going to be good for you because I know some of you are waiting for it. Orange, which is a wireless carrier here in the United Kingdom, have basically emailed customers and said that they won't be getting any white iPhone 4s until the end of the year. And the end of the year sounds to me, whether it's December, we're already coming up to the end of August or mid-August, so I can't really see any time before November or December, I would say, But this could just be a total PR stunt by Orange, because this story went out throughout the whole Mac and tech websites. So it might just be a case of Orange trying to get more people, getting more publicity, free publicity. But the reason again why Apple have delayed, or so they say, is because they're having some sort of manufacturing issues where they're having some leakage, because they're applying white application or white colour to the iPhone 4. It's causing light to leak. Whether you believe that or not, I'm not entirely sure what the case is. But if indeed December is the launch of the white iPhone 4s, I wouldn't recommend you getting one. I wouldn't, simply because, you know, 3 or 4 or even 5 months later a new one's going to come out, so you might as well wait for that. Half of the product life cycle is gone by December, so if you're the sort of person that updates your phone, you know, every year or regularly, it's not much point of getting a white iPhone 4 in December and then changing it when it comes to June. You might as well just wait for June, or whenever Apple launches the iPhone 5. I would just wait for that, to be honest. I would not get it at December. But what do you guys think? This next story is quite interesting. I'm quite excited about this. Basically, ID Software has showed off their new game called Rage. It runs at 60 frames per second. They boast that it's better than the Xbox and Sony PlayStation 2. It also works in the 3GS, which is quite surprising. And generally, you know, I have yet to come across a game on the iPhone 4 which is quite unique in terms of graphics and style. I think Gun Range is probably the only game that I play which is iPhone 4 specific. But guys, do leave me your suggestions down below as to what game I should maybe get for the iPhone 4. Maybe you guys have come across a game which I haven't come across yet. But I've yet to sort of find that killer game when it comes to the iPhone 4. So do leave your comments below. This next story is going to be a relief for some of you guys in the United States, because CDMA iPhones are making their way to retail shelves by this January. They're in their final EVT stages, engineering verification test stages. And basically it's at this point where it's really getting polished off. It's coming to those final prototypes known as the N92. And it's this point where Apple are really, you know, going to be taking this out in field and checking it out. It's not so much of a big problem here in the UK because every Tom, Dick and Harry has the iPhone 4 contract. Orange, T-Mobile, O2, 3. So you've got a wide range of services and choices, shall I say. So not every area is good with O2, not every area is good with Orange. Where I stay and where I presumably, you know, travel around, I get fantastic O2 coverage, and that's why I'm with O2. Get fantastic customer service, 3G service. So, you know, I've always been with O2. But in America, it's always been AT&T. We don't really know the reason. Some say that's because of Apple and AT&T having a long ass contract, and that's finally coming to an end. And Apple have had enough of AT&T, and they're saying Verizon is, you know, they're going to be the new sort of baby. Very interesting. I know some of you guys are specifically holding out for a Verizon-based phone, simply because you get crap AT&T coverage or you're not happy with them. So guys, leave a comment below if you are waiting for a Verizon-based iPhone or a Sprint-based iPhone. You know, have you been specifically holding out for one? Last but not least, this really isn't a story per se. I just thought it would be a nice way to sort of end this segment off. A research carried out by Fortune found out that MacBooks are the #1 favourites when it comes to college students. They had a massive 27%. Dell were #2 at 24%. But it's just good to sort of see that, you know, Apple and Macs are sort of making their way to consumers, despite, you know, Windows having the overall market share and so on. But here in the UK, we still do have, in my opinion, when I was back in uni last year, there was a lot of people still with Dells, HPs and so on. Definitely if you went to a library or a classroom, you would still see loads and loads of Windows machines, and you would see the odd MacBook, MacBook Pro, or the iBooks, the PowerBooks for the previous years. But yeah, what kind of Apple notebook do you have currently? Are you planning to buy one come after this student year? Are you going to be getting one for graduation or whatever? Leave your comments below. Guys, remember you can join me on iGlassRegion.com, twitter.com/i6glassregion, and if you can join me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/iGlassRegion. And I'll see you next week for this 5th segment. Thanks for watching. Cheers.